Hi everyone, welcome to episode 34 of YarnAdelaide Knits podcast. Knitting, crocheting, a little bit of spinning and fibre related podcast coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide, South Australia in Australia. My name's Nicole. Welcome back. It's been a little while. It's been probably about 4 or 5 weeks since our last podcast, when I usually try and do it fortnightly. Through busy family weekends and children being sick and me being sick, and only really having a good opportunity once a week to record a podcast, there's a few weeks that have gone by for one reason or another. I wanted to do it last week, but my niece got married over the weekend and we were doing a bit of the catering for it and what have you, so the preparations for that started then. So the 2.5 hours that I get on a Thursday when my youngest child Scarlett is at occasional care, when I get to record, didn't happen because it was used up doing that. So welcome back. Today's episode, and thank you for coming back. Welcome to all my regular viewers, and a big hello to anybody new. I'm glad you've stopped by and found me. So today's episode, I've got a couple of FOs. Yes, in those 5 weeks surely I would have finished something, and some whips, a little bit of shop update news for Colagirl Collective, a little bit of guild news. I've got acquisition, which is not yarn, it's more a yarn tool. So now for the elephant in the room. Being based in Adelaide, I couldn't but not post my three colour cashmere cowl by H.K.G.S.A Locatelli that I proudly put in crow's colours to wear at the football when on the rare occasion that I do go. On Paris today, my trusty backup dancer, mannequin in the background. It serves me well. The blue and the red are just, I think they're baby yarn. What's it called? It's like Peyton's Dreamtime, I think it's called. And then the bright gold is white gum wool, which is an awesome real gold colour, which coincidentally is quite hard to find. That nice bright gold to do the crow's colours with, as my friend in Alice Springs is finding it hard. So I think I've found a dye that does a reasonable job. It's not as intense and vibrant as what that gold is, but it is a gold nonetheless to help him out with. He sells a lot of beanies and scarves in the Todmore markets on the weekends through the winter time, through the tourist season would be in the cooler months rather than the hotter months up in Alice Springs, in the dry season rather than the wet season. So let's get into finished objects, which, as you can see, I am wearing one. Is probably not going to be much point in standing up in it, but I have finished my fingering weight round neck boxy. I dyed it in a base that I don't have in the shop. Not this particular base, but I do have a same base in the same composition. So it's a merino cashmere nylon that I dyed up in the Something New colourway, which is a spin on the Vampire Apocalypse colourway, basically, because I added black. That is something new. I really love it. I alternated skeins. I used up about 4.5 skeins. I did the 40 to 42 inch size. So I used roughly about 450 gram skein. So I used, what's that mean? 450 grams of yarn, give or take. I have, yeah, about half a ball left. So I quite happily alternated skeins, alternated rows in the body, and then I'd kind of almost used up the four skeins, and so then I had a small ball of the fourth skein left to do the sleeves and the fifth skein. So the alternating of skeins wasn't, and you can sort of see because I'm pointing it out, that the, what's the word for it, the pulling, the striping of the variegation of the yarn and alternating the skeins is not, and being that they're smaller stitches as well, is not as pronounced on the body as what is. It's kind of a little bit of pulling, but it kind of pulls in a zigzag. What's that word for it? I'm not sure. Words escape me when I've got a camera in front of me for some reason. So yeah, I'm happy with the way it's finished. It's probably, I chucked it on a few days ago when it was cooler, and it's been warm all week and it's cooler today, so it was perfect that I could actually wear something. So yeah, I'm happy that I finished something. Want for another finished object. There's probably not much more that I would have to say about this. It blocked bigger than what it was when I tried it on after I'd finished it, which is good. And I'll show you what I got to block it a bit later because it was a new acquisition. So I'll just move over to something else. So being that my niece got married over the weekend, it was also it was supposed to be a baby shower / surprise wedding, but she let the cat out of the bag about a week before the wedding, before the weekend, to make sure people came because they were actually getting married. So because she had a baby shower that was inviting men and women, both partners, rather than just traditionally the women going to a baby shower. So yeah, so made sure she got a few more people going that would want to see an important day for them. So I made a baby blanket for her, but I've already given that to her. Let me see if I can get a photo of it. It's not a very good photo, but it gives you the general idea of what it was. I'll just find mine so you can see that one there. Now, I can't remember what pattern it was I used, and I can't find the sheet that I used for it. I've stashed it away. It was a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll put it in my show notes. But I also, which I didn't finish because I didn't have buttons, I made her this, but I think I'll give this when Bubba comes along. I made a little sunny side cardigan for her in some Painton's Dreamtime. I think they just have numbers for their colourways. And I've got hundreds of buttons, 100 or so buttons, but a lot of them are more girly buttons because of Scarlett making baby items for her. So I didn't have any little boy ones because I'd used them all up when I knitted baby stuff for the boys years ago. So I have to go to Spotlight and buy something that would suit. I thought I bought one of those big bags of buttons that you can get from Big W and Spotlight, and that have just a amount of buttons in them. And I sorted through them and I really couldn't find, how many buttons do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons that look the same. So yeah, I'll have to go and buy more buttons again. So yeah, I did, this size is the 6-month size, 6 to 12 month size. I figured Bubba's not due until, I think she's getting induced early, not due until the end of October. So yeah, no need for a cardigan, so I made it in the 6-month size ready for next winter. So yeah, I knitted many of these for Scarlett. I knitted 3. when she was born, being that she was prem and she was an August baby. So in late winter I knitted her a preemie size one, and I just did the newborn size, but minus 2 stitches where the cable or the lace panel, I did the cable panel, so I minus 2 stitches on either side. So I think these, being that this is a free pattern on Ravelry, the Baby Sunnyside by Tanis Fibre Ups or Tanis Lovely, to make it smaller, instead of the 3, I think there are 3. Yeah, there are 3 stitch cross cable. I made them a 2 stitch cross, and that tended, and I think rather than two pearl stitches here, I made it 1 just to make it slightly narrower and easy enough for me to follow, to make a more preemie size cardigan for when she came home. And that seemed to fit her quite well. I did it in a purple colour. So yeah, and then I made her a newborn size and a 6-month size. I made her a white newborn size, and I did the lace pattern, and then I made her apricot 6-month size and did the cable as well. So they're basically all my 3 projects that are finished. I have started a couple of new things, worked on a couple of whips that have been hibernating a little, but not necessarily hibernate, neglected, ignored. So I'll show you what else I've started as well. I've started a jumper for Justin, which is from the latest Interweave Knits magazine, the fall 2017. It is called the Nelson Pullover by Irina Anakieva. I've pronounced it somewhat understandable. I'll show you a picture. I did post the picture on Instagram. Going that way. That's the one there. Right, so it's not really. Sorry guys, not a very good glare. If I knew, yep, there we go. Can you see it? So yeah, it's a top-down saddle shoulder pullover that has the cables on the saddle shoulders. Has a bit of a high neck. Yeah, and Justin liked it. So I thought, ooh, because I've showed him many a jumper and he goes, no, don't like it, no, I don't like it. And it's been a few years since I've knit him something. And being that he's working at the wholesale market out at Paraka now, he is feeling the weather all over again. So this is how far I have got. Basically started done the shoulders of the shoulder and left the stitches on the needles. I'd done this far and realised I'd picked up stitches on the wrong side, so the side that I put the stitches on hold was on the neckline rather than going down the shoulder. So this is the back. The yarn is some merino possum that my mother-in-law got me from New Zealand when she went to New Zealand about 5 to 10 years ago. So it's from Deep Stash, which I'm pretty stoked that I'm actually using it finally. Yeah, so I've got plenty of that, and so the pattern calls for 10 ply for worsted weight. But this is 8 ply. I did do a swatch. It's a little bit smaller gauge with the needles required than what you would get when you'd use, if you used a worsted weight. But I figured I want to use this yarn. I want to use from Stash. And I measured his chest, so I even measured him as well, so I know which size to make. He's about a 44-inch chest, so I'm doing the 48, so it'll hopefully have a little bit of ease for him, and with gauge difference will be perfect. I'll go for the Goldilocks size for him. So yeah, so basically I've done enough. I need to start increasing a few stitches for the armhole shaping, and then pick up stitches and do the other side, and then join it in the round and bang lots of lots of stocking stitch with just knit rows, because I'll be doing it in the round. So yeah, so once I get to getting it in the round, knowing that that will be easy knitting that I can take to my knitting groups and just knit, or if I go to the movies, you know, for that off chance that me and Justin might go to the movies on a date and handball the children, I will have something, one of those portable projects that are easy knitting, that hopefully won't be too bulky and it won't be too hot. But yeah, it's funny that this time of year I usually end up finishing a jumper pattern, being that it's usually for that an entry into the Royal Show. So I still have had that, I don't know, muscle memory or something, being that I haven't entered anything in the show for the last couple of years, but I've still had that urge to finish a garment. So yeah, I'm still rolling on with that. Although the Balsam Ridge jumper that I've got some fluff, some possum, that's not inspiring me to get it on. I think it's because of the yarn. The yarn is a Angora cotton, and I'm not feeling it. The colour's awesome, but I'm not feeling the pattern of it. So yeah, that keeps going. Yep, no, I'm not inspired to do it. So yeah, I want to do that, and the only reason why I say I want to get it to knitting it in the round, so it'll be easy knitting, is because I'm feeling like I need to finish a couple of things. One thing I can't find, I went to go look for it, and yeah, I couldn't find it. But before I get into that, I'll show you my other cast on, which I didn't bring with me. I will go get it. I'm back. Would you believe I can't find that either? I think the fairies have taken it away. I don't know where. Fairies meaning my 3-year-old has stashed it somewhere. A couple of months ago, Justin lost his keys, and Scarlett had stashed them somewhere and forgotten where she put them. So for about a week he didn't have car keys or a house key. Luckily we had a second key for his car, which was alright. But yeah, and then she had a little Emma from the Wiggles handbag, and she put them in there. So a logical place to look for them. We'd looked everywhere else and couldn't find them, but yeah. So yeah, that and another pattern, I can't find what I've done with it. So I can't show you the socks that I've cast on either. That's bizarre, because they were sitting, and because they were usually sit in the lounge room, and yeah, she's taken them somewhere, I don't know where, and she's not here to ask. Anyway, what else I've been knitting up? I did do a few rows of my Alinda wrap by Amber O'Brien. That one there. There we go. So yeah, it's a wrap scarf on the bias. So yeah, ultimately I haven't done a hell of a lot of it, but I did notice when I did do it, I've made a boo-boo that I need to pull back where I've done it, and yeah, Need to pull it back a good inch or so and start it again. Well, not start it from the beginning, but yeah, that's pretty slow going. It's a little bit boring to do, and it's lace weight, so yeah, you don't get the instant gratification from it. So it's something that keeps getting put by the wayside. The other one that I want to get finished is my Find My Fade. Now that got put away for a while because the next colour that I wanted to use was I needed to dye up, but I did finally dye it up, which is the Unexpected Delight colourway on my Drover sock base. So that's ready to go, but the project itself has gone AWOL, and so I need to either turn my blanket box upside down or spend a bit more than 5 minutes trying to find it. So hopefully there might be some progress onto that once for next podcast. Another one that I did do a couple of rows on, but still not finished, and it's almost finished. It's kind of like you get to about 80% and then you go, Peh. It's more about the journey than the finished product for me, obviously. And this is my Starting Point shawl wrap by Hohi. So I've almost finished one of the side triangles up to there. Now I did run out of the green, which is it is Blacker Yarns Tamir Tamar yeah, and that's in the Withy Brook colourway, but I did run out, so it will probably have a few extra rows of the, I'm trying to think which side has the more, it's not as obvious anymore, but that sort of deterred me a bit and I lost the oomph for it. But it's almost done. And that was done. So you got the Tamir, that's YarnAdelaide's Juniper, that's my colourway in the little Outback in the Thumper, and that one is YarnAdelaide again, and that one's called Crush, and then the pink is my yarn in the Pride Fingering, the Organic Merino in the It's a Girl colourway. So yeah, that one I want to get finished, so that one needs to come into the fore again and will itself to get finished, so I can free up some needles at least too. I'm finding I'm running out of needles when I'm starting new projects. A little bit of guild news is we had our AGM. Our president's in for another term, for another 2 years, I guess. I'd finished my term as vice president, and I was kind of thinking, no, I think I will leave the committee and just focus on other things. And I'm still on the committee. Sorry for my glare. My squinty eyes and sort of sun glares a bit much right now. So yeah, so I'm back on the committee again. So I think it's guild fees are due all over again for the next following year, and I think we're doing a bit of a, where are we going? Because it's our 30th birthday, our 30th year I think it was around the AGM, or was it October? I can't remember. So to celebrate that, we are going on, I keep thinking to go on a wine tour, but no, we're not going on a wine tour. We're going on a bus tour, and they're going up to an alpaca stud up in Mount Barker, and then, or up near Mount Barker somewhere, and then going to a, going out for lunch. And then they're going somewhere else, but I can't remember. So yeah, they were doing that. I was hoping that we were going to do a day trip to Clare and see Tracy up at Knitsby and Weave, but yeah, they're going to an alpaca stud. I'm not really interested in going to an alpaca stud, but that's where they're going. So yeah, it should be fun for them. So on to Colagirl Collective shop update. I am in the process, I'm going to do a self-striping Christmas colourway for socks and make some project bags and do a little kit for Christmas. So I will be, this is, make a small project bag, so make a project bag. That's the small size, is it? No, it's the small size. Make a small project bag, this size, with this material, and then I'll do self-striping, so it'll probably have these colours in it and be a Christmas colourway, so it'll all come together. So hopefully by next podcast I'll have them all done and listed and ready to go. So if you're interested in a Christmas kit, which will have a 3-stripe self-striping colour sock yarn on the Drover sock base, small project bag, and I think I'm going to put some stitch markers in there as well. So it'll be a kit with some other Christmassy treats, and I'll show you next podcast. Now the pressure's on for me to have something finished and completed. I've got a deadline now. So I've signed up for Wool Swap, and Justine is my swap partner. Hi Justine, if you're watching. You might want to avert your eyes because I'm going to show you the colourways that I'm going to send to you, which are new colourways and one that I dyed up specifically for you, so I'll give you full warning. I have, yeah, so dyed up those, and yeah, bits and pieces, and I have put some of the yarns that I showed you last time in the shop, and I'm not sure whether I showed you all of them, because I know I haven't put them all in the shop just yet. Photos are taken, it's just, it is a little time consuming and requires a bit of my concentration to get them into the shop with taking photos and uploading photos and doing a spiel on what is doing the listings into Etsy. And there's lots in the shop that you guys can have a look at. So I've got some bags that I'm going to put in there soon. I need to take photos of them. I toyed with buying one of those white boxes to take photos with, and then I just need to bite the bullet and do it ultimately. And then I went off it, and then I thought I had something fixed or something that will do with taking photos, but I think I just need to bite the bullet and buy one of those white photo boxes and be done with it. And that way it's not such an ordeal for myself when taking photos, because I'm ultimately never 100% happy with it. So I dyed up a little bit of lace, and I dyed up some speckled lace, which yeah, and I bought some big foil barbecue trays, and they're in a nice big size. That I can buy oven trays that size, but they're quite expensive, so it's a bit like keep shopping for them. But I bought some like disposable ones, the foil ones, and they're only a couple of dollars each at the $2 shop, and they're nice and big, and I can fit about 4 skeins at a time in there to do the baking method of dyeing, as in putting colour on, baking it in the oven for about half an hour at a low to moderate temperature. And so I played around with that, so which is good because you can dye up more skeins at once and get more symmetry with your dyeing, as in the colourways are a little bit more accurate than if you do kettle dyeing with speckles and variegation and what have you, just due to the way that you lay your yarn in the pot compared to laying it in an oven tray. So yeah, so these are what I did doing in the oven tray method. So I dyed up some, I don't know what I'm going to call this, something to do with fairies, where it's fairy garden, or it reminds me, fairies, it basically reminds me of fairy bread, because it has the hundreds, you know, the different colours of hundreds of thousands. So this is on the lace weight, this is on the Matilda lace, which is the 75 superwash merino, superwash Australian merino 25% silk. It's about 800 metres per 100 grams. So I've got 4 of those, and then I also dyed up 4 in the Swagman, on the Swagman base. I'll get the others. 3 and 4. So there we go. So yeah, Swagman base is the 85 Australian superwash merino, 15% nylon. So it's a little bit softer than the Drover sock, and it sort of has a slight halo to it, only a very small halo. It's not nowhere near a merino halo, not merino, a mohair halo or an alpaca halo, but it tends to have more of a halo than even the silk, being the silk is quite shot. It's, fibres don't tend to break off in silk as say it does in wool. So yeah, so there's 4 of those as well. There's 3, where's the 4th one? There it is. And the 4th in that. I really like seen a few projects of late with using lace weight yarn and fingering yarn together, not knitted together in, but more have panels of the fingering and have panels of the lace, like The Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. That was quite interesting. Admittedly, she uses a mohair in that, which tends to have a very similar gauge to what fingering weight yarn does, but it'd be interesting to see how a lace, like a merino silk lace weight to a fingering, looks together. So yeah, I don't know whether the gauge would whether the gauge would still be the same, or whether you'd have to go up needle sizes, or what you'd need to do. But I'm intrigued or inspired by it. My designing isn't that far advanced as yet, shall we say. I'm not experienced enough with different forms of even shawl shaping and using that sort of thing yet. So it might be down in the future, but not in the immediate future, unless I can negotiate with someone to maybe design something for me using my yarns. might be something later on down the track. But yeah, I think that's incorporating different weights, and in that way using lace weight doesn't become such a burden as what it can do, what I've experienced. So that's that one. I've got to make some room. So I've got a pile of yarn there. I don't want to make, here, let's see if I can make a mini yarn mountain over here. So I also did some more Keepsake in the Matilda lace, which is a tonal blue with an undertone of grey. But it's a nice aqua blue, so it doesn't make it too dull. But the grey underneath just calms it down. So that's Keepsake. And I think Keepsake's already listed in the shop. And then I did some more where's the other one? There she is. Did some more Ordinga Drop Off, which is probably my most popular in my lace weight, which is a nice teal colour with a charcoal undertone. So yeah, there's another two of those. I know they're already in the shop. I can't remember, I think Keepsake is, but ultimately I can't guarantee it. But if you can't find it and you want it, let me know and I'll make it available for you. So we also have another few more that these are all on my Walker base. No, that's on Drover. I'm telling porcupines again. Let's see. Okay, I can see these two. So Muddy Meadow will be back in the shop, but it's on the Walker base this time. It's nice speckled green with yellows and reds. It's real limey. Yeah, Muddy Meadow. So just real. I think when I initially did this one, it was last year, and it was at the end of the season 2 of Outlander, where they had the battle in a meadow. I can't even remember, but it reminds me of a muddy meadow like that from Outlander. I can't even remember where they were exactly. I've only just started watching it again, so remembering all those names and what have you is all coming back to me. So yeah, so there's two more. They're not in. I'm pretty sure they're not in the shop yet. They're on the Walker base, which is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's not the Australian one. It's not Australian merino. I actually think it's South American merino. It's a little bit more plumper in the yarn. So it's almost, yeah, it's hard to describe because it is different to the Drover base. Yeah. And then I have in the Walker again, I've got some more Speckled Love will be back in the shop. These photos are taken, I just need to upload them. If I have more time after I finish filming here, I might upload a few more. So that's on the Walker base again, Speckled Love. It's got speckles of pinks, obviously, some reds and some black. So it gives you the tonal pinks with splotches of red and black through it, which is quite nice. So there. What have we got there? Okay, I have maybe I've only just got one. I've got one of the Grey Nomad. I don't think Grey Nomad might be already in the shop. I've only got one of him. I think I sold the other one at the Fibre and Fleece Festival. So it's come out a lot bluer this time around than the original. The original is quite a bit more grey. I think I might have been a bit more heavy-handed with the blue. So it has speckles of grey, has a grey base and then speckles of black and grey and a bit of dark blue on there as well. So there's only one of them. And so, what have we got here? Why is there only one? Is there supposed to be two, or maybe I did sell them? Okay, let's go for this one. So, Shepherd's Delight is back on the Swagman base, which is the 85 Australian Superwash Merino and 15 nylon. So this one is variegated colourway of blues into purples. So it's kind of like a sunset. You know how you have those, the purpley pink blue sunsets, and something about Shepherd's Delight means that it's going to be a nice day the following day. So the wives' tale says. So there's two of them. Quite pretty, that one. And that was a order. A friend gave me pictures of what colours she wanted, and I came up with that, and came up with Unexpected Delight, which is, I haven't even banded that one yet. So that is on the Drover base, and yeah, she gave me a photo. This was the order. She got Unexpected Delight and Shepherd's Delight. Yeah, from pictures that she showed me, and she really loved them. So and I was very apprehensive about that. It's very scary when your interpretation of what somebody wants and to what you come up with, and yeah, that's why I really liked what I finished with this one, because I'm a bit of a sucker for the corally orangey apricot pink colours, which is what all that is to me anyway. And this one was, yeah, that one I was really happy with as well. So there's two Shepherd's Delight, one Unexpected Delight that I'm not sure whether I've taken a photo of that yet. Then we've got Candy Floss, which is a new colourway. I think I might have already showed you guys this, but hey. I'll unashamedly plug my yarn shop. So this has got speckles of, well, actually it's got, did a splotch of nice hot pink, and I did speckles of navy blue, and purple and yellow. Yeah. So it was around the Royal Adelaide Showtime, which was on a couple of weeks ago. That's why it got named Candy Floss. And that's on the Swagman. And what are you on? You're on the Drover. You're on the Drover. So another new colourway, which is called Allure. So I found it alluring, being that it's got the hot pink and the purple and the speckles of black, and speckles of the pink, which had reds in it as well. It's got purple in it as opposed to the Speckled Love. So that's on the Drover sock base, which is the 75/25 Australian Superwash Merino nylon. And then I've got, this is a new colourway as well. I named her Temptress. So it's got black, and pinks and purples through it. I think it, but no, it wasn't. I think when I dyed this, I was trying to do Shepherd's Delight, but I didn't have one of the colours, so I couldn't do it, so it got purple through it instead of the blue, I think. Oh, no, that's right, I'm telling a lie. I know I ran out of colour when I wanted to do Shepherd's Delight. Maybe it's not that one, but yeah, it's another new colourway. It's a variegated one this time. Yeah, and there's one of those. And then this is Lionheart, which is that mustardy yellow with some red speckles through it and some black. Oh, is it brown? No, it's brown. I really like this one. So there's one of those, and I did a couple of skeins of the 8-ply Outback, which is 100% sustainable Australian Merino, and that is in the Walter colourway. So that's dyed charcoal and then over dyed with a navy, so you can get, it kind of looks charcoaly. The blue is coming up on the screen quite well, but has that blue tone to it, just something different. Stay. And then I was playing around. These I've listed. This is another new colourway that dyed, I think, a week or so ago, and this was just after the last episode of Game of Thrones. It very much reminded me of the blue eyes of the White Walkers, so I named them Winds of Winter, and it was in a patch of really cold, miserable weather that we were having here at home as well. So it's 2 tones of teal, and then it's got some black speckles over it. So if you're a blue fan, you'll like this. And that's on my Lush 8-ply Superwash Merino. So yeah, I'm trying to get, not everybody likes the 4-ply, so I'm trying to expand and play around with speckling and colours and stuff with 8-ply. Ah, there's the other one. So there was 2 of Temptress. Sorry. And there's the other one of Allure. So there was 2 of Allure as well. There we go. Yep, this skein mountain is going to roll over soon. So I did a little bit of self-striping. I had a colourway that I had at the craft show a few months ago that I helped out with Charmaine from YarnAdelaide, and she let me, by helping out for the whole weekend, she let me sell my hand-dyed yarns. And I had a colourway that I thought I had written down the colours that I used for it, but upon looking back at it, I couldn't find it, that a friend really liked, and it was called Martin, so I did some self-striping of those, which is maroon, brown and green. Yeah, so there are three stripes, about 5-6 rows on a, say, 64 stitch sock using 2.5mm needles. So yeah, there's there will be a couple of those in the shop. And then I dyed up some more spice chai on the Drover sock base, so they will be in the shop shortly too, which is another one of my popular colourways. There is a ho-he jumper that I want to do that Tracy from the Grocery Girls has just finished, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's been on my list from one of the interpretations books. I keep going light rain, but I don't think it's called that. And I don't know whether I want to do it on my dapper tweed base or do something like this. I'm not sure. I don't know. Spice chai is nice. So that's on the Drover sock base, the 75-25 superwash Australian Merino, 25% nylon. So, okay. So, and the last two colourways I want to show you are the colourways that I want to send to Justine. So, Justine, avert your eyes if you don't want to see, if you want to leave it to a surprise. So, this is, now what did I call this? Ah, that's right, I called it the Pollinator. It's on the Lush 8-ply Superwash Merino. So yeah, I'm going to send her one of these. Yeah, it's 2 tones of yellow and with some black speckles and some more yellow speckles as well. I really liked how it turned out. I noticed there wasn't much yellow in my shop, and I'm really happy with that. So that one, they were, bar the first lot that I showed you, the fairies something, they were all kettle dyed. Now I played again in the baking trays in the oven, did some baking again with yarn, and I came up with this, going off the colour favourites that Justine put in her bio for Wool Swap. I came up with this. So I thought, well, okay, I might, even though I've done a couple of other fibre shares and Wool Swap, this will be my second Wool Swap, and I have specifically dyed up colourways for my yarn, my swap partners, based on the colours that they do like. I haven't, yeah, and now that I'm getting a lot of colourways in my shop and what have you, and creating new colourways, I'm starting to struggle for names. So I might just name this Making Friends #1, Making New Friends, and just one, and for following ones I will do, there'll be 2 and 3 and so on. This has speckles of yellow and green and orange and blue, and then whatever pigments are in those dyes. So there's a little bit of red, and even the odd, there's some bright blue, and even a little bit of purple and some pink occasionally. So I ended up doing 4 skeins of this. So I did 2 in the Lush 8-ply, and then 2 in the Swagman fingering. There we go. So I will probably send a 4-ply and an 8-ply. So these 2 babies, Pollinator and Making New Friends #1. So yeah, I'm happy with, and it's good because it made me step outside my comfort zone. But not that it's not a comfort zone, it's more because I'm always willing to give anything a try, especially when it's got to do with colours, because I don't think that there is no right or wrong way. It's in the eye of the beholder. But ideally these aren't necessarily colours that I do go for, so it was nice and refreshing for me to step outside my box and try something that I don't necessarily get inspired to do all the time. So yeah, I'm happy with the way it's turned out. And having a look at Justine's Instagram, she does like a lot of those greens and yellows, so I'm happy with that. So they're all sorted. So there'll be 2 skeins of the 8-ply in the shop, and then 1 of the Swagman in there for making new friends. So that's all. Now I've just got to take photos. No, I have taken photos. I did take photos of the new stuff that I dyed a couple of days ago. So now I've just got to transfer them onto my computer and then upload them into my Etsy store and just do it. And then there's a few bags that I've made as well. So I've got a large zip bag. So it's got blue dots on one side, and then it's got the blue where it comes up very, don't look at it too long. And then it's got some cherries and daisies lined on the inside. So that's the large size. Then I've got one, that's right, I never got to make the press studs for that one, so that one can't be listed. I have to get, and I've had to give the press stud machine back. So there's one, a small one with the snaps, and then that's the black and the pink, and then it's got the white and the pink lined on the inside. So that one will be put in there as well. And I did another notions pouch. Words are escaping me. The blue zip. And then this is a medium sized bag. This one hasn't quite finished, so it hasn't been nicely ironed because I haven't sewn the interfacing. The interfacing's still got a hole in it, or the lining. So that one's in the medium size, and then it's got that on the inside. And this is a medium one as well. Or is it a small? It might be small. So it's got the cats, and the watering cans, and the bird boxes. That one's quite cute. And that's got the yellow flowers on the inside. That one has no handle. I don't make all of them with handles. Not everybody wants a handle. Sometimes they can be a bit annoying, especially on the smaller bags, because the smaller bags are good just to chuck in your handbag and be done with it. But again, that one needs to be sewn up on the bottom, and this one. Saw this one and love this one. I think I might have to make myself one of these. This is with the teapots and the birdhouses. And then it's just got little flowers on the inside. But it has a handle. So, and that's in the small size as well. So again, got to take photos. If there's anything that you've seen today and you like it, let me know. And yeah, we can talk. So yeah, basically that's about it. Something that I do want to do, I should show you. I did bring it out, so I'll show you. Really keen to cast on this ST. It's a summer top by Justina Lorkuska. She's from Poland. Lukowska, I think. Yeah, it's just a short sleeve t-shirt, kind of like the boxy, but has saddle shoulders of lace. And I've got some Peyton's bamboo in the 4-ply that I think I might use up. Stash dive, deep stash. I think I got them years ago for a couple of bucks a ball at Spotlight. So, you know, you see those at a bargain, half decent yarn, you go, yep, I'll have that, and just chuck it in your stash for a rainy day. So yeah. Oh, and something that I did buy. Something that I've been gonna buy, but they're not the cheapest things to purchase, but they are quite good. I bought some comb blocking, Knit Picks comb blocking combs. So they're these little trusty things. That one, which I'm finding when I'm blocking, especially some of the baby blankets and that sort of thing, when you're pin blocking it, and it's only out of sheer laziness because I didn't want to get the blocking wires out, because it takes forever when you're threading the blocking wires, even though the effect is awesome. Yeah, to use these. And I blocked my boxy with this, and I was quite happy with the finish of it. So yeah, they're not cheap. Well, they're not, you know, but what's cheap for what it is? For what it is, it is what it is. There's not exactly a cheaper version of the same thing out there. I think they ended up being, I think they were about $34 from YarnAdelaide. But being that as part of the wool swap, she's got a 12.5% discount for wool swap participants, and the participants will know what code to put in as part of the wool swap exclusiveness. So yeah, I got 12.5% off, so I think I got them for about around $30, something like that. It's around 29. Don't make me do the math. So yeah, they're really good. I've been wanting to get these for a while, but being that, you know, they're not. But then when I bought blocking wires, they were $50 odd too. And I bought them from Tangled Yarns up in Queensland the last time we went up to Queensland for a holiday. And that was when I was pregnant with Scarlett, so that was 3+ years ago. So yeah, so I hope everybody's well. Yeah, Christmas is coming. I missed out on, if I thought of something really good to do, but I need to talk to a couple of the other Adelaide-based indie dyers, whether they might be interested in doing something next year. But yeah, something around an advent calendar, but with perhaps getting 5 different of the little indie dyers around Adelaide if they want to do a collaboration for next year. But I really need to, being that people are putting out their advent calendars now at the beginning of September, and yeah, it's only the 9th month, so still another 3 months till Christmas. I think I might have left the collaboration and working together a little bit late. Something that I will discuss with some of the other indie dyers for next year if they're interested. So yeah, I think that's about it for me. My camera's about to run out. The tripod, I've forgotten that the tripod is buggered now. I need to invest in a new tripod for it. So it's the camera is on one of my dyeing pots and an ice cream container that I use just to, with the dyeing process of just getting it as a water carrier. So yeah, it's sitting on top of that today. Yeah, because I do all my dyeing outside. I've had to clear off my table, and yeah, I need to get a there's no room in the house for all my dyeing stuff, so I need to get a cupboard out here to store, and I prefer to do it outside, as I've explained before, being that you get full ventilation that way. And yeah, and although when I use the baking stuff I do use the oven, but I'm quite careful, but it's exhausting being that careful when taking stuff inside, using stuff that you would, like the oven that you'd use every day for, you know, for cooking and what have you, to dyeing yarn with. Yeah, you know what I mean. I've got a microwave in there as well, not the house microwave, but an old microwave that I had with the shop. I should get out and experiment with microwave dyeing as well, because it's there. And now that the weather, although it's a pretty crappy day today, hasn't rained yet, but it's overcast and cooler, hence why I come on my Buxy. I want to have a go at solar dyeing over the summer, I think, just to have a play and see whether it's my cup of tea. So yeah, alright, on that note, I should get off. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much for watching. If you like, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you within a couple of weeks again. I hope it won't be so long until next podcast. And hopefully I'll have some more finished objects of stuff that I want to get off the needles. Enjoy the next fortnight, guys. See ya. Thanks for watching. Bye.